So I'm smiling because not that I mean to do videos just calling out stuff. That's not really what I'm about. But if someone fires a shot, then I fire 10 of them. It's just the way that I am because I don't really uh, start stuff, right? I'm not really into the beefs or anything like that either. But I typically just laugh at it because I'm at a point in my life, especially with the age that I am now, I'm at a very secure point in my life where things that would have bothered me to the point of where I would have gotten angry, now I just laugh at because I realize the value of life and how short life is. And there are certain things that are very important, like my family. That's super important to me. Everything else is really not that big of a deal, right? As long as you have your health, you have your family, other stuff is not that big of a deal because it's not like I have to deal with those types of things. And I'm referring to a couple of different things. I did the video talking about, is it me or has society went backwards? Because there's a lot of stupidity. You have some women who think that they should be higher than men just because, right? Because you have some dudes that are in power who have controlled stuff or put their thumb on everything. All men are to blame. And that's just stupid. Not all women think that way, but there's a considerable amount where every man's the enemy. And what's funny is some of the ringleaders who run those types of tropes are married. So they don't care what image women put out there because they're set. Some of these are famous attorneys, some of these are politicians, and these are women who will bash men all day or low-key do it because it sets the tone. Again, I was talking about in that video how things are layered. They set the tone. And so other women are like, yeah. But these are single women saying, yeah, that's right. Men are dogs, men are horrible. But yet the women who are running the show are married. So they don't care what type of message they put out there that demean men because they're set and they don't act that way in front of their husband. But other women who basically drink the Kool-Aid end up in a situation where they have this toxic relationship with men for no reason. And this has happened a lot in the Black community. They have a toxic relationship with men for no reason that they come across, and then they wonder why they're still single. Right? Because of the simple fact that dudes don't want that. They don't want, just like a woman wouldn't want. Why would you want to be in a toxic situation with someone who is just negative, has a very pessimistic view of you, or things like that? I had dated women who had this pessimistic view because they chose a guy, and then when you get information about more about the guy, it's like, well, of course this guy's going to do that. Of course you're going to have bad men that are out there. Of course, you have to have bad and evil, bad and good. Everything in life has a positive and a negative. You have to have those things so that you can look at examples of things that you want to be and things that you don't want to be. Right? I mean, it's just common sense. But it's like, again, I think we've lost our way. So in this particular thing that I saw on Facebook, I didn't say anything. But this one Asian lady posted a meme that showed a really big dude on a beach and a very skinny girl on the beach. All you can see is their back, walking down the beach holding hands. The next one shows a Black woman with a very old, she's probably 20s, had to be, and this very old guy who's probably in his 60s, and they're smiling. It shows another one where a lady is with a guy who is handicapped. He's missing an arm, I believe, and in a wheelchair. It shows another one where there's a black woman with this really big, fat white dude. And then it shows, I forget the other one, but it shows like a few more. And the thing said, love is beautiful, love is love. And I agree with that statement. However, just like I brought up in the June Lovejoy video, which I'll address that too. People believe love is love until it is a black dude. Because I've seen memes where if it's a black dude, there's a black dude that's with this older lady who's 60 and I think he's 20 something, and they have their own little TikTok and she's always dancing and people are clowning him because he's with her and they're saying PS5 secured. You see a lot of people. You see some dudes making little jokes, black dudes. You see a lot of black women making jokes about it. And this one Asian chick who posted the same meme posts a lot of these types of things. And she even had posted that meme before, I believe. As if you're a black dude, you have to be with a certain type. You're in a very narrow box. Very narrow box. Everybody else, it's love is love. But if you're a black dude, then it must be some sort of angle. You get what I'm saying? It's funny how that is the way that some people's mind works. That this gentleman who's with this older lady, this black dude that's with this older lady, it can't be love because it's got to be something else. Now, they do have a lot of people who follow them and love them and that type of thing. They have experience. A lot of people who give good things, but there's people who talk negative about her, saying that she's, he's dating a corpse and this, all these juvenile, stupid, bigoted comments. And it hurts her feelings, obviously. It bothers him because if you're with someone who you love, you don't want someone attacking them for no valid reason, and you know the heart of that person. But these are people who, again, have lost their way. And I asked in that video, has it me or has society went backwards? There were people who said, yeah. There were some people who were saying, or one person I think who mentioned religion, and I got to thinking maybe that is true. I'm not super religious, but I remember back in the day, and even in my hometown, it's a church almost on every corner downtown. And society there is different. I didn't have the issues where black men and black women had this gender warfare. It didn't exist. When somebody was no good, everyone would say, well, that girl or that guy is no good, you don't want to be around them. But it wasn't all black men or dogs like what you see on YouTube. And in some, even here in Seattle, you have some black women who are on some of these Facebook groups saying the same thing. That never happened. Maybe it was because of religion. Maybe it's because of different culture. I don't know. Right? I still don't know that one. But you didn't have the stupidity. And you did have people. Didn't matter who it was. As a kid, man, I love going to stores downtown because, heck, every time you walk into a store, somebody would hand you a piece of candy. I loved it. It was great. So maybe that is what it is, right? There's another meme where there's a black dude who's with a very fat chick. And people are making fun of him, saying that PlayStation ain't going to buy itself. Right? Because he can't love. See, love is not love when you're a black dude. It's got to be some sort of an angle. But yet the black chick can date a very fat, overweight white dude, and that's okay. Or the one white chick who on the beach walking and all you can see is their back. She can date a big fat dude and all this. And it's love is love. But no one, if it was the other way around, it'd be some sort of financial thing. People could say that the black chick is with the old white dude for money. Or that the one chick is with the really big dude on the beach because she's a gold digger. But no one says that. They're just saying all these nice, polite things. It goes back to what I said about June Lovejoy. It wasn't about June Lovejoy. I had someone saying, you simping her. You must be simping. Nothing against June Lovejoy. She seems like a very nice lady. And I said that, she's appealing and attractive. However, if I'm simping, when it comes to those Japanese movies, it would be with Shiroi Tsukada, not June Lovejoy. I mean, this is facts. People who know me, these are facts. It ain't no June Lovejoy when it comes to Shiroi Tsukada. Sorry. Now, if you accuse me of simping for that, okay. Okay. There's others. Okay. I'll give you that. But it's not. I'm calling out facts. So just because I call out facts and say that in the comment section it was a lot of positive things, again, then it's basically, let's turn it back around. Somebody else is saying someone playing victim. Playing victim of what? Facts? And the fact that someone else said that a lot of these people are hypocrites, they are. Even when you look at the interview, even June Lovejoy was saying that there's a lot of people who can be hypocritical because they watch her stuff and then do nothing but talk a bunch of hatred towards her and all these different things. It's not an uncommon thing. It happens here in America. It happens all over the world. When people are in this industry, a lot of the people who talk a lot of crap, and those are people who, again, lost their way or they don't have much going for them, they talk negative about the same people that they're sitting there getting their jollies off with. It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. It's just like you have some of these performers who work with black dudes and they have people leave all these negative comments. It's like you're searching for it. So you find it and then you make negative comments. I go back to the happy white women search and people say some sort of a conspiracy. There's something that Google is doing. And no, it's not. It has to do with the fact that very short-sighted, small-minded individuals, and it's not just white dudes. Because some of the people who are making the comment, there could be other people of color who are just as stupid. Oftentimes it is. And it's not necessarily black folks. It's people who are of Indian descent or whatever. Hispanic, people who are almost dark as black folks, but not quite. Or maybe they are. It's like, let me throw as much shade at them so that people will be like, look, we're not like each other or something. I've seen that often where a lot of the bigotry that I've seen has not been directly from white people as much. It's kind of shocking. Most of the time I've seen a lot of bigotry from people of color, including black folks. If we're being 100% honest, now that's not to say that there weren't bigoted white people who maybe kept their views to themselves, or they don't show their hand and show their hatred or bigotry. Maybe, but I've seen more crap from people who were black, Hispanic, Asian, Middle Eastern than I have from white people. I'm just towards black folks or black men or whatever. I've seen more of that than I have the other way around. And I was born in the South. Again, I don't know the heart and mindset of everybody. I'm just saying in general. So in this particular circumstance, the guy that's saying someone's playing a victim here, someone's playing a victim. And I think that he was, I don't know what he was. I go based on their name. And the funny thing is these folks never have a picture. They don't want the public to look in their window and see their dirty laundry. So they want to hide themselves and never really show themselves at all. Because then you would be able to pick that apart and say, well, this person's probably an incel. So that explains why he has this deep fascination with June Lovejoy and find the need to actually go and defend her on somebody else's page when June Lovejoy doesn't even know that I even exist. Right? She didn't care. But you have someone who really is simping, who finds a video talking about her, and they're trying to be a keyboard warrior of someone who doesn't really even care about them. Maybe she cares, but she didn't even know that they exist. And who can't really get someone beyond what he sees on the screen. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, that's kind of what it seems like. Right? It doesn't make sense to me why you would go to someone else's page. Because even on June Lovejoy's page, it wasn't on her page, it was on Asian Boss's page, even though I said I think that a lot of people are hypocritical. Maybe not all the people in the comment section, but I think a lot of people are hypocritical of the circumstances. And I was asking questions. How come there are not some of the same typical white dudes who talk trash about white women who are with black dudes, how come they're not saying anything about June Lovejoy? Right? It's just a question. And still, instead of answering the question, saying, well, maybe it's because of this, because of that, you have people who are saying that, oh, well, you must be, you playing victim. Stating facts to some people is victimhood. You see what I'm saying? Stating fact. It goes back to what I said before about is it me or has society went backwards? And I said, it's not just America. I can't say America is the one place where things are just falling apart and people are just stupid. It's around the world. And this proves my point. It's around the world. It's not just white people. It's not just black people. It's everybody. Where you find another man will go on to another man's page and sit there and try to start stuff. Or it's similar to if someone doesn't like your garden. They don't like the way you did your front yard. So they just walk up, pull flowers out, take stuff out, and tell you, I don't like these, and then walk off and leave. You get what I'm saying? Like, what type of sensitive, delicate mentality do you have to actually do that? I'm not saying don't disagree. But why go in and try to incite something instead of saying, you know what, I think you got it wrong. I think you got it wrong. Because Asian Boss has done a lot of different videos that talked about, what it's like for black people to be in South Korea or, black folks in Japan or this, that, and the other. They've done a lot of different things like that. And maybe they probably will in the future do something that talks about some of the black dudes that are important there or whatever the case may be. But I think you got it wrong about that. And I think you got it wrong about, the way that people view June Lovejoy as opposed to Lisa Ann or whomever because of this, that, and the other. That, I've been like, you got a point. There's oftentimes when I have people that school me all the time, I talk about this. About, maybe that is what it appears, but it's kind of more like this, or they actually give complete facts. It's like, dang, you're right. Like, where'd you find that? And they show you where they found it and they give you information. It's like, okay, that happens often on Discord. I mentioned join the Discord down in the description box below because oftentimes you'll see people correct me on things that I'm complete, or not even necessarily correct me. They'll point something out and I'm like, I never even knew that existed. That's the whole point. But when you come in with some sort of nasty, negative mentality, of course you're going to get it back. Now, a lot of times I pretty much kind of ignore it because I got bigger and better things to do. But I just laugh at some of the situations where it's like, who are you to come onto someone's page and talk stuff? Now, granted, I didn't go and talk, just like on the one thing about Facebook, because people will say maybe that's hypocritical. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But to me, inciting violence should always get a response of that's not cool. It's different when because I see people who post political beliefs, religious beliefs, economic beliefs, everything under the sun. They have their own view about things. And I never say anything. I'm like, okay, that's their view. That's their right. But when it goes, there's a fine line between that type of stuff versus hatred or inciting some sort of violence. And unfortunately, social media companies don't really do much when it comes to posts like this. They really don't. And so you condition people by showing the same things over and over and over again, right? Conditioning people by saying certain things every single time, and eventually people accept it as truth. And you see stuff like this often, a little bit different. Sometimes it's just making fun of dudes, and that's completely cool because at the end of the day, smart people know who to stay away from, right? Smart people know who to stay away from. There are a lot of people, and you have a lot of folks now on YouTube, and I celebrate it. I mentioned Kevin Samuels in that video, but to be honest with you, if we could replicate Kevin Samuels 5 more times and put them on YouTube, so have 5 different Kevin Samuels that is consistent, then I think things would be a whole lot better. The Crimson Cure, we need about 15 more of her. We need 15 more, because all the weight is on these 2 shoulders. There are other people who are, chiming in and bringing awareness. But gee, it's like, and these folks have successful channels because of the simple fact other people are like, dang, it's just so toxic out here. And that unfortunately people have read into these toxic things so much that they're starting to believe it, or they're starting to act these things out. And then they think, I really don't believe that way, but for some reason I've been treating people or treating guys or treating women a certain way, and I don't want to keep doing that. So you have people who are saying, look, there's a reason why you're doing that, because there are people who are not happy themselves, like some of the people who left the comment, who are not happy themselves, or like the one chick who made the post about the Annie Oakley, who there's not anyone in their life. I'm not trying to be mean, but they don't have a spouse. You see what I'm saying? So of course you're going to be a little bit bitter. That would never come out, but of course you're going to be a little bit bitter. When the vast majority of your posts talk about men in such a negative way, you've been hurt. And you may try to post memes to make it lighthearted and joke, but the reality is you've been hurt. And unfortunately, people don't want to go seek help. They want to, again, double down on their stupidity and say, I don't need help. It's somebody else's problem. Somebody else, the other people are wrong, not me. So you end up in situations like this where in the future, Noelle and I talked about this, in the future there's going to be there's a lot of single people now. But there's going to be a lot of senior citizens that are single. And and the government is going to be making a lot of money, because a lot of these people have nobody to give whatever little bit of stuff that they have to. So it ends up going to the state. Like, there's going to be a lot of people who really and truly have no one to count on. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bit sad. But when you don't want to put in the work to look at yourself and change things, and I admit that about myself. Like, I had to and it's not like I'm where I want to be, but I'm head and shoulders way above where I was. But when you have to look at yourself and say, dang, like, how toxic am I? Like, what can I do to help me? Then you start to really evaluate and say, like, yeah, there's a lot of things I need to actually fix. There's a lot of things that I really need to focus on. There's individuals who are now taking health into consideration and getting health checks and getting different things, because tomorrow's not promised to you. Things can change instantly. I tell young black men, this is one of the things that you should do. Forget the nonsense and the fact that society is going backwards. Forget that, because it is what it is, right? But work on you. Work on yourself. And I see the kid's supposed to be doing schoolwork right now, but doesn't sound like it. Work on you. Work on improving yourself. If you work on improving yourself, then you can navigate things a whole lot better. It's not a guarantee. Right? There's a gentleman, I forget his name. It's Mediocre Tutorials and something. I do follow him, and he had mentioned that he has cancer. He's a young guy. Right? Obviously scared. That's enough to scare anybody. And that's just proof that even if you do, says that he lives a healthy life and he makes sure that he exercises, he does all the things that he's supposed to do, and still something like this can happen. Life is too short to really get bogged down in the hatred, the bigotry, the anger, and all of that other stuff. It's not really worth it. It's more or less about focusing on you. And he even mentions in there a couple of times, go get your health checks. I've been saying that. Definitely go get your health checked every single year. I don't care if you're 18 years old. As a young black man at 18, have it in your mind every year. Set the calendar on your phone. This is when you need to know when to go and get your health screening done, right? Probably throw in some STD checks just to be safe. Check everything. I did that when I was in my younger years. Go in there and say, check everything. Check everything. I don't care what, just check it. And so it was good because I had peace of mind knowing that, all right now I'm okay. And if something does come up, I have a year in between that window of where something could happen. But within that time, hopefully I'm able to find out what it is and it's not too late. Versus some people who never go and get things checked. And then 3-4 years pass by and they've had something that they probably never even had an idea they had, and it's too late. Or it's become such a complicated situation that it's hairy. Long recovery, a lot of pain that maybe wouldn't have been the case, right? So, in short, wanted to do this video because I don't want to go down different rabbit holes, but I just find it interesting that when you, again, this is just, I'm just showing proof out there. There are other people doing the exact same thing. Now, this is not to the people that get it, right? There are tons of black men who get what I'm saying. And they know, like, when I'm talking about idiots, they know I'm not talking about them. There are tons of black women who know and understand that when I'm talking about someone who's hurt and damaged and bitter, that I'm not talking about them. Same thing with white folks, Hispanic and Asian. The people who know that he's not really talking about me, he's talking about the idiots. Those are the ones who I deeply respect and they get it, right? Which are the vast majority of the people who are my subscribers. They understand that. It's the ones who refuse to take a look at themselves and realize how they judge and treat other people. And the fact that they're toxic. And the videos that I create for Young Black Member, really, you could substitute anyone in there, is to watch out and stay away from those types of people. It'll make your life a whole lot easier, a whole lot better. Do not date those types of people. Avoid them. And the thing is, I think a lot of people have avoided them. And that's the reason why these people have the mindset that they do. Right? But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to join the Discord down in the description box below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. Until next time, I will see you. Take care.